This video is sponsored by DecalWorks, offering 10% off all graphics to retail customers. Use the promo code RX10 at decalmx.com to receive 10% off your graphics.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of RacerX Garage Builds. I am Chris Kiefer. We're out here at Paris Raceway, California, the oldest track in Southern California. And this is a 2020 KTM 350 SXF. This bike is what I like to call the do-it-all bike. Older guy, don't ride a lot, you don't want the 450 power, 350 is great. You're a 250 guy, you like to rev, this thing is great. You're a racer, vet class, don't want all that 450 power, but 250 is not enough for you off the start. Boom, 350 SXF. I have a couple guys with me today. They're going to talk about this bike. Then I'll tell you guys what I feel out here at Paris Raceway. All right, of course, you guys know this face. This is Jay Clark. This is his machine. With these RacerX Garage Builds, I like a backstory. I talked to Jay a little bit about this one. There's not much backstory to this. Jay loves to ride. This is what I like about Jay. He's not only in the industry, but he actually rides a dirt bike. Imagine that. Being in the industry and actually still riding. It's a miracle. So go over why you bought this bike and what you did to it.
So even at 51 years old, I still enjoy riding, like you said. And so one of the things I'm noticing is that I do love 250s, but I end up making them faster because a stock 250 is too much, not quite enough power for this to get over stuff. So I end up running a 270. So these 350s, stock bore with just a few little mods, like with what Jamie did. We had Jamie do the Vortex, and we got the FMF pipe, of course. Those are really the main mods on this thing. That's it. We have a stock compression Vertex Piston, so there's really no performance.
Which is rare for Jay, because usually he does stuff inside the engine, but it's pretty much stock.
Yeah, no porting, no big bore. So we just kept it stock, and and that's what we learned last year as I rode a 350 a little bit more, and especially we're heading up towards winter, and we're hoping for some rain, and so this is going to be kind of my hill bike, putting tracks in and the fresh, stuff. It's nice to have can tear up some dirt, as you know.
All right, let's start. Basically, not a lot of engine stuff done. We have the Vortex and the Muffler. So let's start off with the chassis. Factory Connection did something that I really like, KYB conversion. So talk about that.
So, and I've really tried hard, and I know you have too, with air forks. And I have this I rode a bunch of bikes this week as well, a bunch of the new 21s, and I really like air forks when we tweak on them, and it's the only thing I ride that day.
You have no comparison.
But then once I hop on something with spring forks, then I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, there's something better, even if it's just stock. So I still, as much as I love the KTM and WP guys, they have some great stuff, and they have their cone valve stuff, as you know, is really good. So they have good stuff, they're just not coming on the bikes brand new. So that's why we went to Technical Touch and Factory Connection, and they set this up with dual spring KYB conversion up front, and then redid the back for us, and we also added a linkage in there, which Mark at Factory Connections out here, he can tell us about that. So that's the kind of the big thing is I won't have to mess with air pressure, any of that stuff. And so the rest of the bike just did a lot of the stuff that we typically do to the bikes. A lot of the companies I work for, we got Supersprox chain and sprockets, of course, P3 carbon skid plate, UFO plastic, DecalWorks graphics, Uni air filter. I did take the backfire screen out of the air filter, use a 2-stroke air filter cage. That's real easy, little tiny mod, give you a little bit better response. Got some VP T4 in here. Simple. It does run very well on pump gas. We added pump gas for your last moto, and I don't know if you even noticed much of a difference, did you?
No, I didn't. I'm a horrible test rider, obviously. That's what Villapoto says. So Dunlop tires, of course?
Yes, we got the MX-33 and 3S front.
Thank you, Jay, for the 3S front, by the way. Thank you.
And ICW does our radiators. They weren't bent in this case. They were still fairly new, so we just strengthened them up. He does a great job on those, and bike came out just amazing looking, as you can see.
Yeah, with Jay's stuff, I really like. I'm gonna have a confession with Jay. I come back, everything I ride of Jay's, I end up liking a lot, and it makes me think I need to rethink what I'm riding. I did a 250 build. I wanted a 250. I did a 2-stroke build with him. I want a 2-stroke. Now I did this 350. I'm like, gosh, this thing is fun. It's perfect for Paris. Tight, ruddy tracks, really just a lively engine feel, fun to ride. So I'm going to break it down to you guys here in a little bit. But Jay, nice work. And thanks for possibly maybe spending more money on my end. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. And I wish there was more 350 racing. I wish the Premier class was 350 size, but unfortunately I think we're stuck with what we got right now. And like you said, I think this is a great bike for the vet guy who doesn't necessarily care about, if you're racing competitively, even in the vet classes, like at Loretta's when you were there, you need that 450 to get to that. You got to get to that first turn, right? And that deep stuff, you're kind of stuck in that case. But if you're not competitively racing, the 350 is a better choice for a lot of guys that are out there, even a little bit bigger guys, and you don't have to do any mod. You could ride this thing stock, and it's really good.
All right, so on the track, how does this thing run? Look it, I'm the first to admit, like you just heard me from Jay, I'm usually not a 350 guy. Jamie at Twisted does an excellent job with Vortex ECUs. If you guys aren't using an ECU, you guys should be if you can afford $800 to $1,000. There's more there in an ECU than there is with a muffler. So spend your money wisely. He maps it. It makes the thing pull harder, rev further, and give you some more bottom end. That's what you're gonna want out of this 350. Obviously with the FMF pipe, they do the KTM stuff right. Out of all the companies I think I've used, FMF always has the KTMs down. And for me, the big thing you guys hear me talk about on the podcast is I like WP suspension, but with the air fork, it's tough to dial in throughout the whole day. I'll have a good feel in the morning. It ends up changing throughout the afternoon. I'm always chasing it. So I love a KYB fork, Yamaha. I love that bike. Let's drop these into this WP outers, and man, what a difference it makes. I was just telling the guys today that lean angle traction coming into corners is off the charts. If you guys are searching for some more lean angle traction, KYB inserts on this thing is amazing. I get more plushness, more comfort, and the whole bike as a whole feels less harsh and rigid. Believe it or not, a KTM chassis is on the stiff side. So putting these KYB inserts in makes the bike itself just have more comfort around the track, especially today when there's this light, square edge, choppy stuff. The front tire follows the ground really well, and you feel like you have more of a tire contact patch. And for me, I'm a front end steering guy. That is mucho important. So, man, I was really pleasantly surprised with that today. I've never really ridden with factory connection KYB inserts, first time today, and I was really shocked. I've never complained about the WP shock. I went to some Pro components before from WP, some exact stuff. I don't really feel like I need a Pro component out back. The stock shock is really good, but what I didn't like about the stock shock, it feels empty near the end stroke. I hit a jump or I'm landing on a G out, it's just kind of empty at the end. Factory connection has a knuckle and rods that the rising rate ramps up at the end of the stroke. So when you're accelerating out of a corner, you have more rear wheel traction, you hit some G outs, that ramp, that curve that comes to the end stroke, it's not as soft. So you have a little bit more hold up, and overall balance of motorcycle is much better. Again, it's just fun bike to ride, man. As I get older, I'm learning that I like bikes that are a little bit lighter feeling. The 350 feels light, it's free revving. With the Vortex ignition, it just makes it fun to ride. I have a lot of fun. When I ride 450s, it's a lot of work. It's fun, but it's a lot of work. This thing just puts a smile on my face throughout the whole day. It was a pleasure to ride. All right, so what about the price? You're gonna say, yeah, Kiefer, yeah, awesome, it works great. How much does it cost? Look, it's a lot of money, but if you're riding a lot and you want comfort and you want to spend less than your WP A-kit / cone valve fork, $1,750 for the whole kit, but obviously they have to set it up for you, valve it, so you're gonna look roughly around $2,200 for the complete fork. Now, if I was really committed to my 350, going to keep it for a few years and I wanted that comfort, it's not a lot of money. The benefit probably has a great resale value. So if you end up selling your KTM and you want to get rid of your forks, some other KTM guy out there is going to want to buy that thing and you probably won't lose that much money. All right, so that wraps it up for another RacerX garage build. Extremely fun bike to ride. If you guys want to go subscribe to RacerX publication, 12 issues, you get a calendar, it's $30. It's an awesome deal. I still like reading publications. I still like reading print magazines, so go check that out. And of course, racerxonline.com for all your racing needs, testing. We cover it all. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you on the next one.